Singh, and I'm the managing partner of Inclusify. And I'm also going to be your host and moderator for the Tech Talk session, as well as for the diversity event that is to follow. Now, as part of the Tech Talk session, we have with us thought leaders from varied backgrounds representing Globant, Atos Centel, Genpact, and Principal. For the benefit of those who don't know enough about Inclusify is a disruptive startup on a mission to enable diversity and inclusion at the workplace. Our services, the offerings include a curation of stories and sharing of these life stories on digital platforms. And these are people coming from different backgrounds, gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity, race, religion, what have you. And we celebrate these, diversity on our digital platform to build social awareness, as well as to increase their acceptability and inclusion at the workplace and in society at large. Under our talent solution, we connect potential recruiters, as some of you, as well as organizations with this diverse talent pool. And we do this through hiring services as well as diversity events like the ones that we have lined up today. Now, we also provide a hire, train, and deploy model of staffing, as well as mentorship programs in collaboration with some industry leaders as well as some organizations. Now, also very soon, you will also get to know about the AI tool that we are about to launch, which will help, faster and better mapping of talent pool to open roles, and also help organizations minimize, if not mitigate, unconscious bias that you really see during the hiring process. But more on that another day, another time. In the past decade, particularly, more progressive organizations and many more organizations of late have realized the importance of diversity, not only for innovation, but also for the profitability and bottom line, making this, making an active effort to reduce this disparity in terms of pure numbers, pay parity, representation in their leadership cadre. But even after so much of effort, the recent market report shows that while India leads as far as women in tech numbers go, but women still remain underrepresented at 35% of this ratio between men and women. And this drop, or you'll see a drastic drop, or if we look at women up the ladder, as well as when you think about their visibility in the core technology space. So there's enough and more that we need to do to change this. And therefore, it's immense pleasure to launch our first diversity hiring event focused on women in technology, and that too for some of the most sought after skills of today. And to kick off this event, we have leaders from participant organizations joining us to share a little about their organizations, the open roles, as well as to enlighten us on, what sets them apart from their competitors. I'm really looking forward to hearing from them, and I'm sure many of you are as well. So without further ado, I will start by introducing you the first speaker of the day. And he is Mr. Shivraj Sable, the head of India Development Center at Globant. Welcome, Shivraj. Before you get into the details of what Globant does, I would request you to introduce yourself and let us know a little more about you and your background.
Thank you very much. I think it's really amazing to be here on a Sunday or on a Saturday, and get everyone on a Saturday morning. I think that's truly amazing. I think all of us being here, um, actually, I would congratulate you to be here, uh, taking time out on a Saturday and making sure this gets that kind of importance. So my name is Shivraj. I head the Global India Center, and I come from a background of software engineering, not more of computer science. So I'm heavily into the research of software engineering, but at the same time, I come with the amazing blessing of two amazing daughters. I'm a very proud father, which the best feeling that any person can have, to have two really amazing daughters. And I'm pretty sure one of them is probably going to come and walk in at any point. So please, please do not uh, take offense on that. I have no absolute no ways to stop her from doing that. So that's me. We are one of the fastest growing companies in Pune, but I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I think I have about approximately 10 minutes, if I'm not wrong. And what I need to do is, in those, maybe what I'll try and do is at least try and put across two top of the head thoughts, which I definitely think are the highest priority for me on this topic, right? So I'll try and first very quickly. I don't know if I can share the screen or is it not allowed.
No, you can go ahead, Saloni. Can we enable that?
Right. So in the meantime, that happens, right? Very quickly, not to take up time. One of the key things I really wanted to discuss was what does it mean for diversity for a lot of companies today, and not to individuals. Maybe a lot of individuals today are aware, are very much active in terms of their thought process for diversity. What does it mean for organizations? In the introduction, we heard it could be very much towards bringing in parity of salaries, bringing in making sure all the people are represented. But for a long time, unfortunately, diversity has been thought of as the ability to get in more and more representation for the sake of representation, which means, okay, because we have so much diverse population or of different caste, creed, color, gender, all of those things, let's bring them in, right? It's very it's very very important to understand that today, and I'll come to that and explain why diversity is actually a capability, right? And it's very important for us to understand that you don't have to look at diversity from the sake of getting a better margins or getting all those aspects in a very, very commercial term. It's very important for companies to start thinking about diversity as capability. I'll come to that point very quickly. At the same time, right, it's equally important for us to start looking at candidates. I mean, for all of you who are looking to make a career, what does diversity mean to you? It's not important that you should have the advantage of diversity. It is important that the company should have the advantage of diversity, which means the company should look at having each one of you as their employees because it's actually their own gain. So you should be aware and you should be confident of the thing that you're adding as a value to any organization. So it's not a favor, it's not something that you should be looking forward to as a helping hand. That's the change of mindset which is absolutely required today. A lot of companies I see, okay, this is my target for the year. I mean, why are we even thinking of targets per quarter? Why are we thinking, okay, this is the percentage rise that we've seen in gender equality or in the parity in salaries? It's not about the targets, it's about how good you're going to be able to deliver. Again, we're talking about diversity and inclusion. Inclusion is where the second part, which was mentioned in the start, comes into the picture, which is the leadership. We have seen so many times, umpteen times, where you will start seeing a lot of people dropping out after a certain level of leadership, especially of a certain gender, of a certain category of population, and that's where we need to be able to understand what is causing that. It's not just the ability to okay, just provide them affirmative action, not just the ability to, okay, provide them more flexibility. We have to understand what is real today. For example, when was the last time, do you remember a case where someone went on a maternity leave and came back with a promotion and a higher salary raise, right? it's very important for us to understand that a person's potential is not lowered by a gap of, say, 1, 2, 3 years. And that kind of potential needs to be invested in. So any person whom we feel we have potential, a company would invest in. What happens to that person when the person goes to maternity? That's the difference in thought process that we need to bring in. It's very, very important. So inclusivity is the next level of diversity, which will bring in that really strong action and the thought process that you want to bring in. Now, very quickly, I want to take you through this whole process of why diversity is a capability, right? If you see the whole industry, it's heavily getting disrupted in terms of where are you going to find the next avenues for your revenue. It's very important to understand for industries to uh, find those new methods because they're getting disrupted heavily. We saw Airtel, for example, selling the highest amount of music in 2012. It was a telecom company. Today, the largest online retail company is a software company, Amazon. Today, the largest taxi cab company in the world is a software company, Uber. That's the change in the domain. That's the change in the business disruption that we are seeing. And for that, every company is looking for people, for companies who can provide them end-to-end solutions, can provide them digital transformations. So if you see by 23, we are probably seeing 53.3 trillion worth of industry which needs to be transformed. At the same time, these are pre-COVID numbers. Can you imagine how that must have sort of exponentially grown post-COVID? That's the kind of scope that we are playing in. And to be able to provide this, to be able to look at end-to-end solution, you need people with a different mindset. I'll give you a very small example. Global created world's first online digital bank with the Santander Group, which has absolutely zero branches in the world, zero offices in the world. To do that, we had the CEO, one of the CEOs of Santander Group, bring in the CTO, past CTO of Amazon, AWS, and the first request that we received was give us people who have never worked on banking before. And it's very obvious because you'll probably get the same solution over and over again for people who've had experience in banking. So what we need to do is the ability to induce new thought process and a completely different aspect of thinking. And that happens with diversity. So remember, when you're thinking of providing end-to-end solutions, you have to be able to move from the left to the right. So for a long time in our careers, we've been focusing heavily on the left. You see, I have 8, 10, 12 years of experience in so-and-so technology in this stack. But it's very important that we move away from that and have the ability to provide these end-to-end solutions. Look at the larger picture. And most importantly, be able to translate every single small decision that you make into a complete business impact. And the moment you start doing that, that's when you're thinking of an impact, that's when you're thinking of an end-to-end solution. And that happens with diversity. So it's very important that people of diverse backgrounds, of diverse genders, race, ethnicity, everything come together. And that provides you with the capability to provide these new age digital transformation solutions. It's not going to be possible with the same kind of people over and over again, right? So one of the main things we focus heavily on Globant is all of these, right? We have inclusivity as one of our core values, which needs to be done. So again, I don't want to take much time. Basically, just to wrap up, we transform organizations to be ready for a digital and a cognitive future. We have been focusing heavily on our events in terms of big. For example, we recently held a big event with having people bringing on board who sorry, there's some background noise. We've tried and bring in a lot of people who, sorry. Okay, we've tried to bring in a lot of people who've had taken a long break for their careers, and we've tried to bring them back in the game. So it was a back in the game event, and we definitely truly believe that we want to focus and constantly invest in this ability of diversity as a capability. Okay. I don't know how much time I have. I just wanted to quickly maybe play a very small video if that's possible. If not, I'll skip that.
No, please go ahead.
Okay, just a second. This is, I don't want to focus so much about Globant because this topic is absolutely important, but I just quickly share this for everyone's knowledge.
From time to time, we need to reinvent ourselves. Today, more than ever, We need to grow and adapt as people and as brands. At Globant, we go beyond our peers to help organizations embrace a new reality. We are reinventing digital. Millions of people are impacted by the solutions we create, with products built by blending engineering, design, and innovation at scale. With our studios, deep pockets of expertise focused on the latest technologies and trends. Our reinvention starts with each of our Globers, over 12,500 around the world. Our global team is multi-talented, multicultural, and extremely passionate. In this new world, we reinvent collaboration through technology. We rely on autonomy and organize ourselves into agile pods. We provide transformation that goes beyond digital. We embrace the power of artificial intelligence to augment Globant's capabilities and promote culture. With the help of AI, we are revolutionizing the way we recruit and retain our talent, the way we code and collaborate. It's a matter of following a vision, a dream. We are reinventing digital so you can reinvent your business. Globant, we are ready.
That's it. A short message. Welcome everyone on this lovely Saturday morning. And the only message I'll leave you with is dream big, think big, and don't just survive.
Thank you, Shivraj, and thank you for setting the context for diversity and inclusion, and also for giving us insight into what it is like to work in Globant. I'm sure the audience is going to have more questions for you, but we will hold that till the end of the session. Thank you. Up next, we will invite Suchita Singh Basu. She is the COE head for talent and career management, as well as diversity and inclusion leader at Atos Fintel. Welcome, Suchita, and thank you for being our partner for today's hiring event.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Right. So I'll start out by giving an overview of what we do at Atos, what is our purpose or raison d'etre, as we call it, and then move on to our diversity focus. So the purpose of Atos is to help design the future of information space. This is what we call our reason of being. Our expertise and services support the development of knowledge, education, and research with a multicultural approach, and contribute to the development of scientific and technological excellence. While I say that and I state that, I would also like to talk about some of the programs that we run at Atos to develop this very, very deep level of technological expertise. We run programs like the Expert Program, the Scientific Community Program. You can see all of this on our website. And these are all programs which basically bring together experts across 13 fields, which we feel that should be, which we feel will define the technological landscape of the future. And we bring together experts on a common platform to share, to collaborate, to develop and deepen their capabilities, through collaboration across. We also have a scientific community which guides these technological experts. We have 2 Nobel laureates who consult with the scientific community, a group of 200 thinkers for the organization. These are all very senior tech leaders in the organization who form a part of the scientific community. And obviously, for anybody who's technologically inclined, as you can see, there is ample opportunity for growth. We operate in almost 72 countries across the globe. Currently, we have a headcount of about 110,000 employees across the globe working in different countries. Obviously, the concentration right now is in Northern Europe. with the Central acquisition in India, we have brought in, the US. We have strengthened our footprint in the North America region as well. So, in a nutshell, this is what Atos is all about. Diversity as an agenda is not something, is not about jumping on the bandwagon right now for us. It's not something we just woke up to. It is something which is ingrained as a part of our employee experience. All our talent management processes are our D&I agenda is interwoven with all our talent management processes, whether it is career progression, career management, career development, whether it is talent, development programs that we nominate employees for, or it is expert community inclusions for our employees. Any of this, our diversity agenda comes through across all our talent management and talent development processes. We are highly focused to ensure that our gender diversity, we focus mostly on gender diversity in the in the Indian subcontinent, and it is our aim to ensure that in the span of about 3 to 4 years, almost 40% of our leadership team would be women. We have achieved this goal in many geographies across the globe, and the business benefits of something of that kind is there for all of us to see. In fact, the CTO for Atos is a woman. Okay, she's been working with us for several years. She has 3 children, and she is a source of inspiration to many women technological leaders in our organization. Her name is Sophie Pro. So if some of you would like to go and look up her profile on LinkedIn, you could do that. And she attributes the support that she has received from the organization to help her get to where she is today. We have a lot of women-friendly policies, something which facilitates. What we realized was that there are a lot of fundamental level changes, a lot of fundamental changes that need to be brought in to ensure that anybody in the organization is able to bring what we call their authentic selves to our organization, whether it was a woman or somebody from a LGBTQ community, any of that. We have also signed the UN Charter to ensure to make Atos a safe workplace for the LGBTQI community. We did this sometime last year, and we intend to fulfill our pledge. What we do on a consistent basis, apart from running a lot of sensitization programs and what have you, we also ensure that the bias in performance assessments and recruitment, all of that is addressed. And we have looked at each of our processes, and when job descriptions are written, for example, we have used technology to ensure that the job descriptions which are put out for our prospective employees, internal or external, are not biased, and they don't favor people of a certain affinity group. It is something which is very ingrained. It is a key pillar of our employee experience at Atos. So this is a little bit that what I would like to say. A diversity for us is not something that we just woke up to. It is something that we've been doing for a while. We have had fair amount of success. We've won awards in many countries. We hope to do that soon in India as well. Apart from being a part of your program, we also run several other programs internally, specifically focused for women leaders of facilitating technology leadership in women within our organization. So it doesn't stop at just hiring. It also continues once you join our organization through your entire career development and management process. Thank you.
Thank you, Suchita. Thank you for sharing, all the DNI initiatives that Atos Center has undertaken, and I'm sure you will do wonders in the coming years as well. And I think, talk on behalf of the candidates. Definitely seems to be a wonderful place to be as far as women leaders are, and technologists, I can say. So best wishes on that. Up next, I'll be requesting Lavanya Sri Nagesh to share a little about her role in Genpact and then what all they are undertaking. I understand that you're trying to achieve 50% diversity across levels. So I would definitely want to know a little more about what you are doing to make that happen.
Thanks so much, Sandhya. Well, if you look at my role, I'm the Global CSR and Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Leader for the organization. So, no points for guessing. I have the best role in the company. I think it even beats the CEO's job. Um, about 8 years ago, we took the goal of wanting to be gender neutral across all bands and levels, and to build an organization that was completely inclusive and safe for people of diverse backgrounds. I'm very, very pleased to say that this year we've hit the goal of 41%. It's one of those things that you have to programmatically try and achieve. What's here this year may not be here next year if you don't continue that focus and push towards the agenda. When you look at role models in the organization, I have to say we have many. We have 40% diversity on our board. We have 38% diversity on our leadership, and 50% representation of all our chief operating officers are women. So it is incredible to see that there is representation at every leadership slab within the organization. We use data tremendously to help us drive our D&I initiatives. So looking at the slate, as you can see, our organization, and I'll be very, very transparent about it, looks a little bit like an hourglass. We see a lot happening at the top. We see a lot of representation at the bottom, but it's the mid-management level where we felt that we needed to start infusing a lot of our efforts. And to that, we launched the Women's Leadership Program. We've partnered with Harvard. It's a global program for all assistant vice president women. To remove bias from the process, we encouraged people to self-nominate. So I repeat, we did not ask for feedback. We didn't check with businesses. We didn't ask the HR what performance was like. We said, have faith in yourself and apply for the program. What's fantastic about the program is that we had almost 350 people apply, 50 women leaders apply. And we're hoping that at the end of this program that we will be able to fast track their careers into the next level. We run a fantastic program around sponsorship. It's called Pay It Forward. And I think it's something that I'm personally very, very proud of, because we began with 30 sponsor protege pairs 3 years ago. And today we're sitting at almost 2,000 sponsor protege pairs across the organization. Unlike many sponsorship programs, we've not put a time limit to this, that it's 12 months and you're done. We want this to be a journey between sponsor and protege, for it to grow across year on year on year and become more and more powerful. The reality is that you can't sponsor someone visibly unless you believe in them. And the only way you'll believe in them is if you have an affinity and a bond towards what their aptitudes and capabilities are. So we see that relationship developing really well. Managing unconscious bias is a huge part of how we drive diversity. And we've again taken a very programmatic approach to that. It's a long-term initiative, and every time I speak, I say 2 years, but I keep adding more and more layers to how we look at managing unconscious bias. So we started with an e-training, and I think most organizations have that today, so there's nothing significantly special about that. But we added an evaluation or a test, for lack of a better word, towards the end of it. This helped us diagnose what the biases that existed within our organization were. And based on that, we've created specific customized paths, whether it's for recruitment, whether it's around decision-making at session C time, whether it's removing the conversation from the academic into the visual by leveraging forum theater performances, videos, real-time scenarios. I mean, we ran a diagnostic where I had an entry-level employee, returning mother, assistant vice president, all the way up to our CHRO, interviewed to understand what the biases within the organization are. The investment from our leadership, whether it is our business leaders or our CEO, is huge in terms of time and push when it comes to diversity and inclusion. We recently We recently focused on developing more around our affinity networks. I'm pleased to say that, over a varied number of topics, whether we look at lateral career development, whether we look at how you can look at your career, whether it's looking at how do you balance your work-life balance. We've had more than 35,000 women engage in these conversations year on year. So this is not an aggregated number. This is a yearly catch. And given what the last, I think, 6 months and the challenges the last 6 months have brought to many of us working from home, we created what we call the iSupport community. It's on our intranet. We've partnered with an organization that's helped us curate content. We've created virtual learning for parents to sign up for, so that their children can be positively and productively occupied during the day as they struggle to meet work demands and pressures of the home as well. We leverage a tool called Amber. I'm sure many of you would have heard of it. It really helps us understand the sentiment of employees, and it's great as diversity leaders, to talk about the great work that we're doing. And when you look at the scale at which you're trying to drive it, it requires objective feedback to come to you to see whether you're really making a difference or whether you're not. And Amber has been a great conscience to us. It gives us a great sense of what the belonging quotient in the organization is. And as a result, we are constantly able to infuse our agenda. I consider myself the poster girl for everything that Genpact stands for as far as women at Genpact are concerned. And I'll tell you why. So this is a little bit of story about myself. I began at the age of 19 and a half, when it was Genpact International, GEKIS, International Services. I was an undergraduate, but passionate to work, and I managed to get myself into the learning and development team of the organization. I experimented with a bunch of stuff. I came back twice to the organization, so I feel like a homing pigeon. And this was really because I guess I was young and definitely confused about what I wanted to do. So I was just experimenting. But I came back to the organization in 2016 as a returning mother, confused about whether I wanted a full-time job, but I knew I definitely did want to work. And I was given that flexibility to find myself, to find my feet. And today, I lead what is considered to be one of the more important functions for the organization. So it's been a fantastic journey for me. And I know there are many others who share a story like mine at the organization.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you, Lavanya. That was very, very insightful, as well as very inspiring for many of us. And I'm sure many of the audience is going to follow up on those questions and topics that you had brought up during the question hour section. So next up, we have Praveen Prabhukumar. I understand that he is the Vice President, Genpact, and he is managing capital markets business out of Bangalore. I understand that you've been with the organization for over a decade now and have played multiple roles and currently responsible for delivery, pre-sales, as well as customer management. So, please do enlighten us on how, you bring in the diversity flavor in your day-to-day work.
Satya, great. Thank you. So I think you covered my introduction pretty much, right? So I'm Praveen Prabhukumar, been with Genpact for more than 10 years now. I run the delivery and relation for one of the largest clients that we have within Genpact, and I'm based out of Bangalore. Right. Just to give you a quick color of what we do within Genpact, I just want to make sure that I cover it because Lavanya has spoken more on D&I. I just want to make sure that I cover what we do in Genpact, right? Who are we? Genpact, we are a global professional services firm, right? So we deliver and sustain digital transformation for our clients. So we did have a different Genpact, say about 10 years back, but if you see right now, So we are more into digital transformation than any other client, any other services companies as well. Okay. So we are close to a $4 billion company. We have close to 700 plus clients across the globe. And 1/4 of it is mostly global Fortune 500 companies, 95,000 plus employees, run out of 70 plus delivery centers and 30 plus countries, right? Um, what is our culture like? And this is something that is not on the paper, but we do believe, and the people who work in Genpact can vouch for it. So we celebrate 4 fundamental traits, right? One is curious, the other one is incisive, third is courageous, and then integrity. And we vouch for it because we practice it every day. Now, how do we choose the right partner, right? One is the agility, co-innovation, design thinking, and domain depth. And we practice our deep domain and process expertise to the core. Hence, those clients stick with us. Now, coming back to the D&I that we are looking at and the clients that we're working with, what we need to recognize is, look, diversity today means more than race and gender, correct? There's a growing significance if you look at on creating environments where a variety of different voices are encouraged and heard, right? These voices come from people who may or may not be of the same gender, race, ethnicity, or whatever. So it can include race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation. You talk about maybe religious affiliations, generation, disability, personality type, thinking style. There are plenty. You cannot put D&I in a certain bracket, right? So you have 1,000 things coming into it. So this new way of thinking about D&I, especially what even Lavanya spoke about, right? Focus on meeting the needs of the individual and not so much on what we from an HR center initiative do, right? So we do plenty of things. Today, it is not only about having diversity within a company, but also leveraging the diversity to produce better products and services. That's what Genpact thrives on, right? That's what our clients thrive on, in fact, right? It is one crucial to hire and maintain a diverse workforce across. So gender and racial ethnic initiatives will be launched, maintained into foreseeable future, at least at Genpact, right? In fact, the client that we service, the one that I actually manage the India relationship and delivery for, we have partnered with them. And in fact, Lavanya and head of our D&I, they spoke to the client maybe a couple of weeks back, right? What do we want to do? And one thing is definitely sure that we promote diversity and inclusion at the workplace at a constant work. It's a work in progress. And we will make sure that it is maintained, nurtured to be effective, right? So that's what we do. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be a part of this speaker list and looking forward to it. Sadhya?
Yeah, thank you, Praveen. I was on mute. Thanks a lot. I think between you and Lavanya, you have given us a very clear visibility of what Genpact stands for, both in terms of diversity and inclusion, as well as where it's headed as far as the business, priorities go. So thank you so much for that. Up next, I will request Gagi Chatterjee, the Senior Manager, HRBP from Principal, to share a little about herself and the organization that she represents. Gagi?
Yeah. Hi, Sandhya. Hello, everyone. My name is Gargi Chatterjee. Good morning. And it's great to see everyone so pepped up on a Saturday morning and during the time of festivities, taking time out to be part of this event. So I want to congratulate Sandhya and the team for organizing this. And I'll take a few minutes to talk something about my organization, that is Principal Global Services. So let me give you a trivia about our organization. We are a 141-year-old organization, the Principal Financial Group, and we have survived the 2 world wars, the Great Depression, the Spanish flu, and are now successfully tackling the current pandemic situation. We have an expertise. We are a financial services company. We have an expertise in retirement, insurance, and asset management businesses. We service about 33 million customers across 25 territories. And among the Fortune 500 companies, we are listed at a 201 for this year. Now, let me tell you about inclusion and diversity. I'll jump directly into the topic. It is not something that is that's a new thing for us. It is part of our DNA. And when I say it is part of our DNA, just to give you another perspective, this year people who have completed long service tenures with us, 5 years and the 10 years, we have 30% women. That in itself, that particular statistic, while it may not mean too much, we just, it goes on to show that we as an organization are committed to hire and retain women in the organization and provide them a stable career across their various life milestones. So that's one thing that our organization has always been focusing on. And for us, inclusion and diversity means engaging talent without differentiating basis gender, orientation, thought process, and special needs. So that's where our focus has been, and we will continue to have that focus. So this is a bit about what we do, how we do about it. There are a plethora of activities that happen within the organization to ensure that people do not feel out. They are not part of the group. They do not feel out of the group. That has been a constant feature and endeavor. Any program, whether it is the HR policy or a learning and development program, is designed to cater to all people. It is not focused on a particular gender, focused on a particular person. It is not focused on a particular community, if I have to put it in that manner. And that has shown great, it has shown up in the way the organization is shaping up in India, that is the Principal Global Services Group, within the Principal Financial Group. So this is a bit about how we do and what we do. We are currently in the process of developing an app called Utkarsh. It's in a phase of testing, wherein not only for women, where we would provide for support, returning mothers. I've heard a lot about returning mothers. We have a healthy population of women who are returning mothers. They have found the balance between life and work. And one of our maternity leave policies and says that women can opt for a flexible work environment with flexible working hours, a part-time a part-time option when they are returning back to work, so that we recognize the fact that women will find it a bit challenging after they come to work once they've gone the family way, and we want to support them through that. We do not want a situation where they feel that they have the pressure of having to commit long hours to work while they are neglecting their family. Having said that, even when we are providing flexible working options or part-time options, it in no way says that their performance will not be up to par. So the focus is both on performance as well as ensuring that they are comfortable. Plus the fact that our programs, our learning programs, are also designed to help women understand their potential, grow their potential. Principal Global Services within the Principal Financial Group is definitely seen as the global center of excellence for innovation and for the various initiatives that we take for the organization. So, and we have a very healthy mix of men and women both participating there. We recently concluded our Envision 2020. It's a code jam, which is it's a jamming session for coming up with new initiatives and ideas. And I'm very proud to say that I saw women in technology live in those events. They took the initiative, they were there, they were partnering, they were shoulder to shoulder. So I'll take a pause here, and I would just want to say that we are a fabulous organization which does not discriminate amongst people basis race, gender, ethnicity, special needs, or otherwise, and we welcome all with a very open arms so that you can find a career with Principal Global Services here in India. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gagi. And thank you so much for sharing so much about Principal, While it's been a tenured organization globally, for India it is still new, and many of us are not familiar with the organization. So I'm sure the audience would appreciate all the input that you have just shared with them. Now, keeping in view the time available, I'm not sure how many questions we'll be able to take, but let's get right into it. Dear audience, if you have any questions, this is your time. Please share your questions in the Q&A section. Well, while we wait for the audience to share their questions, a little question for Shivraj. Can we understand a little more about what Globant has in plans for hiring per se in terms of business focus, a little around that, so that people who are aspiring to join Globant have a view to that.
Absolutely. I think from a hiring perspective, Globant has been very, very needle focused on the ability to bring in people who can think big, who have the ability to provide solutions to its partners, not as a vendor. We are not looking to play in the space as a vendor for any of our partners. We have been consulted for, we are one of the leading market space for consulting and the ability to provide these solutions. So anyone who is interested in joining Globant has to start thinking beyond sprints, backlogs, beyond tasks. Somebody has to start thinking on, can I really provide an end-to-end solution? Traditionally, you would have seen that a lot of really amazing products got thought somewhere else, and they would have come to India for development. So okay, here's you have a good engineering strength, go ahead and develop it, right? With Global, we want to really change that. We want to see if every engineer, even the junior most engineer, can take part in this ability to completely think of solutions in every single decision, right? A very interesting example, and this may not be relevant just to Globant, is in 2012 when Airtel suddenly became the largest seller of music in India. If you were an Android or an iOS developer on the Airtel platform, what do you think should have been the landing platform or the landing page for the app? Should it have been the bill plan, or the dashboard that we generally see, or should it have been really the best music player in the industry? Because youngsters were putting out the app to listen to the music and not really to listen to look at the bill plan 10 times a day. It was to listen to the music. So even the juniors, even the semi-senior juniors are making a decision. That decision is changing today. So it's important how each person is able to translate that single decision to business impact. So anybody who is interested in looking at that larger picture, who wants to make a big difference in the industry and not just focus on a 9 to 5 with tasks and sprints, I think Globant is a place.
So what I understand, Shivraj, is that the focus is going to be on people who can look at the big picture as well, have entrepreneurial flair to take on initiatives and get work done. Wonderful. We do have few questions coming up, so I will pick them up randomly, and let me start with few questions which are pointed questions. One says, I would like to ask Lavanya and Gagi what initiative Genpact and Principal has taken for returning mothers, especially sensitizing managers and supervisors.
I'm happy to go.
You want to take this up?
So Deepti, it's a fantastic question. One of the things that we've done is we've created a flexible, like Principal, there is a flexible option that we provide to returning mothers. One is choice of location and shift. When we were all coming to office, of course, that was completely irrelevant, but we have given all returning mothers a choice of location and shift. I think what's incredible about that is that we've really put our muscle behind it. We have a 95% deployment rate for women in terms of the shift in locations of their choice. We do a lot in terms of sensitization. We have an entire team that runs the Returning Mothers program to ensure that all managers are sensitive to the needs of women during this time, especially in the first year of coming back to work. As a returning mother, and I think I mentioned that to you all myself, as a returning mother myself, I know that even though your logical mind says that there are many things that you can do and you needn't worry about, your heart doesn't quite agree with you along the way. And we've tried to build that same kind of sensitivity within the organization. I think it's important for women to see other women succeed in the organization as well. In fact, our HR leader, a lady by the name of Urvashi Singh, she took some time off, was promoted during maternity after her maternity leave, and works from home largely and runs business HR for the organization. Our business HR, I'm talking, it handles approximately 100,000 employees. So our focus is not on how much time you're spending in office. We're a very task oriented company. As long as the work is getting done, we believe that our employees deserve the flexibility and space to do it.
Wonderful. Gagi, would you want to add something on that?
Yes, Sandhya. Lavanya has already covered what we do as a practice across the industries. What I just would want to say is we start right from where many women request for extra leave. Okay. And we all understand the business context, but our managers are sensitive enough and sensitized enough that if they get a request for extra leave beyond the maternity leave and, the statutory compliance that is there, we try and accommodate that. When a woman is ready to come back to work, a mother is ready to come back to work, we realize the importance of them having that, constant push and pull that they go through, whether to be at work or to be with the child. Therefore, the option of flexible work hours and part-time is discussed with them at the onset. We don't really wait for them to ask for it. We rather proactively have the discussion because we want to empower them to make a choice. If somebody wants to come and do a complete, be back to normal, we appreciate that. We welcome the person back to the fold, but we recognize the diverse needs as well. Okay. And that, again, like I had said when I was speaking, is that, it does not mean subpar performance. The person is ably supported with obviously taking the person again through the changes that might have happened in the last 6 months, 8 months, a year, that the person may have been away for work, so that the person is ready for success, ready to grow. The person is set up for success. So these are the three things that I think we do a bit differently while following all other practices that are there, set as industry benchmarks.
Thanks, Gagi. And Deepthi Nair, I hope we've been able to address your query on this. And if you have any more concerns, you can definitely reach out to us separately and we will try and get that addressed for you. Now, moving on to the next question, there is one which says there is a tremendous drop of women in tech at the leadership level. What organizations are doing to address this? Who would like to take this up? Shivraj?
Yeah, sure. I think the simple answer for that is and there's no easy answer. The simple and the only answer to that is to make sure that you do not provide any hindrance for leadership. So the main thing why anyone drops off at a senior leadership beyond a certain mid or senior leadership is a lot of hindrances that are created for every working woman, every family-oriented woman, everyone who has other dependencies, not just women, right? There is a lot of hindrance in terms of being able to look at every leader based on how many hours they are providing, based on what is the kind of dependency this person has, and that has to be taken away. If you take away all those things, like Lavanya mentioned, our chief people and delivery officer, who's one of the most central officers, uh, is working part time. She's working heavily towards building her own home, her family, her children. But at the same time, she has one of the most busiest role. The only way you can do that is the ability to take away the hindrances, right, that we create along the way. It's not the ability of number of hours that you can put in. It's not the ability of how many decisions you're taking in a day. It is how you streamline it, because we value her and we value someone in that position. We should be able to work around that, and that is the dynamic change in leadership that we should be able to see. What happens more often than not is, okay, oh, you can do part time, let's get you working part time. But it's not just about part time, it's the value that the person brings, it's the value that a person starts thinking um, as a leader, because even 2 hours from one person would be far more valuable than maybe 5 days of another person. And that's what we need to start thinking. It's the ability to take away hindrances for people to move on and move to the next level.
Thank you, Shivraj. Moving on to next question quickly, and I think we will stop at one more question after this. Which new gen technologies are redefining everything in the digital space? Praveen, do you want to take this up?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a great question, and I was itching to answer it. Listen, in the current um, industry, right, and in what the clients want to build, they are looking at all the platforms that are available in the market right now. So you can talk about anything from technology standpoint. You can look at Java plus Scala with SRE coming into picture, with the mindset that is at the current table right now. If you look at, it's not about having us one skill set and then moving on, right? What clients are looking forward to is, what can you bring on to the table, just not about technology, but what else, right? It's about the mindset. It's about problem solving skills. That's what Shivraj also mentioned, right? It's about you getting and trying to solve a problem, irrespective whether you are just starting in the industry or you have like 15 years of experience, doesn't matter, right? And your ability to learn, that's what we have lacked in India, if you look at, because that mindset is not there. Even right now, it's very narrow minded, right? So if I am, for example, if I am an expert in a certain technology, I don't want to diverse. But that's not going to happen in the next, right now, as we are talking, the clients are not up for it, because they want people with multi-talented technology skill sets, right? And India, especially the workforce, has to completely shift their mindset to understand, learn, and adapt to the current new setup, right? So just to give an example, so when we talk about any new hiring that we don't look at a certain technology. We look at a whole package, whether you understand the domain, you understand just not on technology, but multiple technologies. Can you come and deliver it, right? Do you have the mindset to solve a problem? So it is a whole landscape that we are looking at. And the faster that the Indian workforce learns about it and understands and adapts, the better it is for everybody.
Thank you, Praveen. There are many questions. I'm not sure which one to pick up, because this will be the last one for the session today. Let's go with a more generic question. It says, when it comes to inclusion, how do we foster an environment where people who come from different backgrounds, I'm assuming, settle in? The question is incomplete, Santosh, but anybody wants to take a guess and complete the sentence for him?
So, Sandhya, I will take a shot at that.
Sure.
Let me talk about a program that we are running currently in the organization, and especially very relevant to the question that has been asked. And the program is called Decide. The program simply means, from a very broad perspective, is that we recognize that we all as individuals are biased. And the concept of us versus them or group is inherent in our DNAs. It's part of our DNAs, primal DNAs, if I may put it that way, for the lack of a better word. But what we are trying to do with this program within the organization is first bringing out from everyone. That's right from our CEO to the CHRO to our group MDs to the last person on in that entire supply chain, recognize the fact, acknowledge the fact that we are biased, and not beat ourselves up for that. But when we acknowledge that we are biased, we will be cognizant of the fact that we have to take a step back when we want to take decisions based on bias. If we can do that, and that's what we are promoting across the organization, and not just Principal Global Services, but Principal Financial Group, is to recognize the fact that we have unconscious bias. Let's bring it to the limelight, acknowledge the fact that we have bias, so that we are more inclusive. And inclusivity, again, I would say, for us, it's not only about gender. Men and women are equal. We believe in that, and that's how we function. It is to embrace everybody. People with special needs, people with different orientations. I'll not call out orientations, and I'm not calling out different abilities. I'm just saying special needs, because when somebody does have something not up to the mark with what we call normal, somebody is blessed with something more. So this is one of the things I think we are doing, and most of the organizations across also are focusing on in that area. I'll take a pause here, Sandhya. Thanks.
Sure.
If I may add, Sandhya, to what
Gargi.
if I may add to what Gargi said, I think
Sure.
it's one, of course, is the various programs that I think most organizations and we all run. But driving inclusion is about driving a different kind of behavior, and you can't do it one time. You have to constantly repeat, reinforce, because you're carrying the length and breadth of an organization. People across geographies come with varied backgrounds, varied experiences that guide how they think. So, constantly repeating and reinforcing the message and understanding that you can never drive inclusion without, if you ever take your foot off that accelerator. You have to keep accelerating it, you have to keep reminding, and you have to keep moving forward. And it means that as a leadership, it can't just be top down, it has to be bottoms up. You have to create the right kind of awareness across all the organization's employees to drive inclusive behavior. So, as I said, it's one of those activities or exercises that you have to constantly run and drive within your organization, not just on a yearly basis, monthly, daily, in everything that you do.
Thank you, Lavanya. Thank you. I would love to continue this discussion, but we do have a follow-up event, and candidates are waiting to, itching to go through their own processes. So I will take a pause and, try and summarize what we have understood of the session today. First of all, thank you so much, dear speakers, for taking time on a Saturday. And I know today is Ashtami and Navami, so thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule. And that too on a festival day. Now, based on the discussions that we have had, we've got a variety of, responses from, we've covered allyship to work-life balance, to providing mentorship and support, to, AI chatbot interventions, and also touched a little bit on the diversity angle, and from there to actually look at the business landscape to understand where we are headed as far as digital transformation goes, as well as the importance of design thinking, critical thinking, as well as looking at the big picture as shared by Shivraj. And I'm sure that is important for all the organizations that we've had. And it's really heartening to see the amount of work that all your organizations are doing. And I'm sure the candidates are really excited about the next stage of the process, where all those candidates who've been shortlisted for further assessments and interviews, we will coordinate with them along with our POCs and the POCs that we have identified with all the participating organizations. So thank you so much. It was wonderful to hear you all today, and your focus on diversity and inclusion is very inspirational and heartening. And I'm sure between the efforts that you guys are putting in and what we as an organization can offer in terms of our persistence in identification and training of diverse talent pool available in the market, together we can pave the way for a more diverse and future-ready workforce. And with that, I would like to end the session today. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. Take care, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye.
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 For all those candidates who were unable to register with us in time to be part of this event, you can still go and sign up at www.inclusify.io and follow us so that you don't miss out on the future events. And for the dear candidates, wish you all the best, and the POCs will reach out to you directly. Everyone have a wonderful day.